Oh no, Hi.
Hi. Danae decided to push a button, so give me just a second here,
Aaron.
and I will
I'm
get
like,
us started.
You know what?
Just a second. Nobody's
Aaron,
watching yet. If people
sorry.
are gonna see this,
I'm
they're gonna have to go back and watch it.
I pushed the.
Officially good morning! It is the morning DNA for December 23rd, 2020. I am Aaron Dicer, the man of a single black
Except
shirt.
for today.
Unless, of course, the Team DNA has dubbed it so. And she is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, including not being able to keep herself from pushing buttons.
Yeah.
She loves to push buttons. Now, many of you may have missed it. I would encourage you to come back to this video and rewind to the beginning. if you indeed missed it,
Hey.
if you're live, because Danae decided, I'm going to start
I
the
wanted to
show
be
today.
helpful.
Is it this button? It's this button. Click.
Yeah, there was a button that says go live. I was like, it's time. We're going live. And Aaron's literally going,
Yeah.
no.
You know, listen,
I'm sorry.
No. It is part of the
Joy.
bouquet of
The
Danae.
joy of working with me.
Correct. The floral smells of the Danae bouquet include. Yes.
That's nice. Much better than other smells.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me how to do the whole countdown thing. You know,
Mhm. Sure.
I wrongly assumed that I would push the button and it would automatically happen. It's fine. We weren't doing anything weird. No noses were being picked. Nothing odd was happening.
Right.
Thank goodness. So yeah, it was a very interesting start to the show today. But that's fine. It's okay. I don't care.
Yeah. Day 2
comment?
of the shirt, by the way. Day 2, Mariella, thank you. This is day 2 of the shirt that was picked by our Team DNA members, actually picked by everybody on Twitter. Thank you for doing that. I will wear it 5 days. And this is a, what do we call them? Stretch goals? This was one of the stretch goals, if, you know, so many supporters of Team DNA.
I don't know what to call them.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I think it's a stretch goal, but I think we should come up with a clever name for it, considering it's just random stuff that comes up in conversation. Like our next one
really
being
is.
Dungeons and Dragons games.
Yeah.
When my microphone is being held up by
Rubber bands.
rubber bands.
Yeah.
We have other things we should probably think about, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Our patron supporters are incredible. You can
Team
support
DNA.
at patreon.com/Studio DNA. It helps us to do the show every single week. And today's a Sunday. We haven't had a chance to do a Sunday for a while. So
Yeah,
we're
welcome
really
to a
excited
Someday show. Yeah, we're glad to be here. It Don't Get Excess Surprise DNA is the best DNA.
Yay!
Very nice. Very nice.
Wow. Can I tell you about something crazy that happened yesterday?
Sure, as long as I can do the same when you're done.
Okay. Do you have something crazy that happened yesterday too?
I don't know if crazy is the right word, but we definitely had a day yesterday.
I guess crazy is probably not the right word for me either. It was alarming. Is yours alarming?
No, mine's not alarming.
Okay. So
Tell me about this alarming thing. Other than how alarming it is that you're going to spill coffee all over.
It's
your
just the
computer and
camera
your
angle.
soundboard.
It's just the camera angle.
It
So
sloshes around in there. I'm like, it's coming at me.
like a 3D
Yeah.
or one of those experiences where I'll tell you to splash water on your face when I spill it forward.
Right. Yes.
It's like what are those called?
I don't know.
It's not interactive. It's I can't remember. Those rides are called something whenever they like blow air at you or like have
4D?
a scent. 4D could be it, but I think it's like I can't remember the experiential anyway.
Yeah. Annoying.
I remember when one of the first ones came out and it was in the news. I want to say it was an Aliens ride or something where they had something touch your leg during the ride, during a scary part. And it was really freaking people out.
The first one I remember doing that was the Bugs Life experience. I forget what it was called in Animal Kingdom in the Disney parks. The Bugs Life 3D movie had like little things, like all the cockroaches ran under the seats. And then there were these little things that like hit your legs as the cockroaches were running under the seats. And then it had little pokers in the back when the bees were stinging and it would like poke you in the back and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so will you try to look up what those rides are called so that my brain can move on to what I actually was going to tell
Tyler's
a story?
like, tell your story. Ha ha.
I know.
Takes forever to tell a story.
The first one, it does take me forever. I'm sorry. The first ride that I remember having that happen on was also at Disney, but it was the Muppet Experience, where I think they filled they for sure did bubbles.
Yes, there were bubbles in that.
And I think that was technically this type of ride.
Yeah. I mean, it was regular seats. I don't think there was anything in the seats.
Sweet Chicken Stirs also say, I think they're called 4D theaters, something cheesy like that.
Interactive experiences.
I don't remember.
Mickey's PhilharMagic is another one at the main park at Disney or PhilharMagic, I think it's called. And like that has a lot of smells in it. Like during the Be Our Guest, there's like, smells of the food and and then what's the flying one? has a
Soren.
Soren has a bunch of smells and
Soren.
stuff too. So yeah.
Okay, so my story real quickly, which is a dangerous story. So immersive. God, I love you.
Is that right?
Don't connect. Thank you.
All right,
Yes,
good.
it's like immersive.
That's what you were
ones.
thinking of.
That's what I was
Immersive.
thinking of. And since we're on the topic, Nick says, "Honey, I Shrunk the Audience" at Disney Park does that too.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, I've been struggling with plant life, and I have this one massive plant, and it's been getting these brown spots. And so when I went to go get another plant at the plant store, because I'm trying to find ones I can easily keep alive.
Do they make them at the plant?
Yeah.
Is that where they make them?
Oh no. The lady was like, "Oh, you should get this stuff called neem, and you just spray it on the plant, and it helps with brown
Neem?
spots." Neem.
NEEM?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, okay. So she's like, "Yeah, you can just get some on Amazon, or you can go to Lowe's. It just comes in a spray, and then you just spray it on the plant, and it helps to, basically, like, it helps with like mites and flies and spiders and all the things that can kind of like and mold,
Right.
all that stuff."
Does it
And I was
help
like,
with
"Great."
not watering or giving sunlight?
No,
Sorry,
Aaron.
did I just spoil the story?
No, I got it in the mail. I was like, "Sweet, it's here." I look at the label on the back, and it's like, "It's good for houseplants and roses and this is and that is." And I was like, "Oh, great." So I go over and I spray it on my plant, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll just spray it on the other one that I see flies on sometimes, these little tiny little flies or whatever." I'm spraying it on that one because I'm learning this thing, which is like most potting soil has tiny little egg sacs in it. And if you keep the soil wet, they don't hatch. But if it gets dried out because you forget to water your plants, all of a sudden, like these mites and stuff start hatching. It's so disgusting. So I'm like,
insane.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm demon you or needing you or Neiman or whatever the heck that stuff is." Blah, blah, blah.
Demon?
I'm demon you. The dog goes over and starts smelling it. I'm like, "Get out of there, get out of there, get out of there." And I have this weird feeling like I need to do a little more research. I peel the front label off, and underneath the back label is a whole new
List of
experience.
warnings. Yes.
Poisonous to humans.
Yep.
Do not touch. If it touches your bare skin, wash your hands for 15 minutes.
With scalding hot water.
With hot freaking water. Do not get in your mouth. Do not breathe in. If you breathe in the mist, step outside for a while. Breathe some good air. Make sure there's ventilation. Don't use indoors. Like, if there's no, and I'm just like, ah! So now, oh, by the way, the plant that is the fern that has all the flies, it's in my kitchen.
Nice.
So then I go into freak out mode because I'm like, I poisoned everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm like running around. I drag all the plants into my office. I close the door. I'm like, so then I start cleaning the kitchen because I've got a problem. I clean the area wherever I sprayed it with the big plant. And then I went to the kitchen and I'm starting doing this major clean in the kitchen. I've got the windows open. I'm starting to feel itchy, but I don't know if it's because of my brain or because it's this I've been poisoned.
Right.
So,
it's that thing when somebody mentions lice and all of a sudden you're like, my head kind of itches.
My hands where I'm pretty sure it touched me, it's starting to burn slightly, but I don't know if it's because I'm scrubbing it off, so it was a mess. So then
all of a sudden from the room you hear, "Feed me, Seymour."
No! The plant is big enough to be a Seymour. That's so scary. But I did have to go into my office. I open the door and it's just the room smells like poison, which before knowing it was poison, I would have just said it smelled like the spray. But now I'm like, it's like this poison zone. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. There's like these spells you can cast that are like these 20-foot radius where if you go into it, you have to make constitution saves. This is me in real life at this moment.
Yeah.
So I open the door. Actually, I take a deep breath, open the door, I go in, and I just run over to the window. I'm trying to open the window. I'm turning the fan on, and I try to get out before I, lose my air. it was a nightmare. So that was yesterday.
You know, wow, I just can't, having worked with you for this many years and having experienced just 15 minutes ago the way you, zoom into things without thinking about instructions, or I just can't imagine this happening to you. Your personality is so different than this. You're usually so,
I was so
detailed
frustrated.
and
I was
reading
so
everything.
frustrated with like why wouldn't you put any of that stuff where you can see it?
Now, let's be fair. I'm sure it says peel here for like dangerous, instructions.
I can go
or
get
whatever.
it to see exactly what it said. Yes,
because
but
I've seen this on medicine bottles too. They put all like the cautions under the peel.
Then they put the danger under the peel.
Yes.
I did not do an investigation search. I rolled a natural 1 for my intelligence saving throw. Which then resulted in some incredibly awkward shenanigans.
Wow, that is something else. I wandered into a dungeon yesterday as well.
Ooh, tell me more.
We were looking for some Christmas stuff, specifically looking for hangers for our stockings. You know how you put they have those hangers that sit on the fireplace mantle, and then you can hang the stockings on them. It just makes
wanted stocking hangers.
Easy.
Yeah.
We had them in a box somewhere. And so we decided, let's go find that box. And so we went into our under the stairs storage, where Harry Potter also lives. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but all our stuff is under there as well. And so we are pulling out, box after box after box, because it goes under the stairs, and how it just kind of slants down until the, very bottom.
It's like a wedge-shaped storage.
Right, yeah, under stair storage. And so we're just pulling stuff out. I'm like, where is this? And then finally get enough stuff out that I can see all the way to the back, where the stairs meet and there's a skinny little box down there that takes up, and it says Christmas. We literally have to take every single box out of our storage, or at least move them around, Tetris them around to try to get to that one box. And it's just the way it always is in those kind of situations.
Oh my God.
But in doing this,
did you find mites and spiders that need to be sprayed too?
No, I probably breathed in way much more dust than I should have. So I got a little bit of that, back of the nasal, soreness that comes when you breathe a lot of,
Yep, my hands are raw today from washing them so much.
Maybe we, both of us had pathogens. Anyhow, in doing so, my wife looked at me and said one of the most attractive things she's ever said to me, one of the most alluring things my wife has ever said to me in the history of our 25-year marriage.
Oh, wow. This is big, because considering on Monday you said that she gave you one of the best gifts, which was the bathroom counters are clean, sweetheart.
That's right. She says to me, what if we go through all this stuff and throw most of it away? And there was much rejoicing.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Yeah, that's my thing, man. Now I'm super motivated, and I'm I gotta go do the show with Danae, but then we're gonna get on this, right? And it's
oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of one of those moments, though. You have those moments where somebody just gets you, and it's just they know that's gonna make you so happy.
Did she do it for you, or did she do it because it's time? Because getting back into the storage is such a pain.
Probably both, but I think a large percentage of it was, this is going to make him so happy. And, she lit up when I lit up. So that's kind of a fun thing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you had, yeah, we were both doing some dungeon crawling yesterday.
Uh-huh. You want to shoe a dough?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We are going to do some D and A and U this morning. So we will have a D topic, an A topic, and a U topic. Several U topics. Those are the ones that you decide. Why don't you just slam your mug into your microphone?
Chimney. Well, I just realized that I guess I didn't hit save on my topic.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you work on that while I continue to explain this? In case you've never been to the show before, Danae is going to present a topic we're all going to talk about, including you in the chat, and that is cross-chat between all the platforms. We'll throw those up on the screen, any of your responses, that kind of fun stuff. Then the A topic is my topic, and then you have your own topic. So if you have something you want us to talk about, a question that you want us to answer, whatever you are curious about, just let us know. Put the letter U at the beginning so we can spot it in the chat, easier. And then we will get to those towards the end of the show. Danae, you ready for the D topic today?
Yes, now that
Okay,
I've
good.
updated it and smacked my mic. What are you doing for your mental health during the holidays? This was a question that came up from a friend of mine. I'm going to be doing like a little, I'm going to be interviewed on her show in a couple of weeks. And she sent me the questions and I was like, oh, this is a really good question because at first I thought, I don't know that I am doing anything. And then I realized I am doing things for my mental health throughout the year. But during the holidays, obviously all the stress is usually already up. But then we add in pandemic and things like that. So I just wondered what you guys are doing for your mental health, specifically over the next couple of weeks as we go through Christmas and as we go through the new year with so many things changing and different. I wanted to kind of hear some ideas. Maybe something that you're doing will inspire other people to think of ways that they can check in with themselves or with friends or whatever, and just to make sure that things are feeling as good as they can be. I know that I remember whenever I was so growing up, I had I would say the G-rated, happy, what you would read about in books, Christmas experiences on the regular.
Sure.
So I feel very, very privileged to be able to say that. Families
Are there
gathering,
people out
big
there having
meals.
R-rated Christmas experiences? What is?
Yeah,
what is this,
I think
what is this
so.
G-rated version.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like as I got older, I realized that not everybody has that experience. Some people are homeless. Some people like don't have good families to go to. Some people are trying to get out of abusive situations. And I just realized that the holidays are actually like an emotional trigger for people
Sure.
because
Oh yeah.
society tells you, hey, this is what should be happening this time of year. This is what we're singing about. This is what we're seeing images of is families gathering around, warm food, delicious smells, beautiful gifts, loving, people loving each other and
So
appreciating
you're
each
talking
other.
about the darker aspect to the holidays and that everybody has a different environment that,
Everyone-
they've grown up in
everyone
or live
has
in
different-
or whatever. Yeah.
But the first times that I was hearing about the how hard it was, and I think maybe it was a friend of mine whose parents had passed away, and so it was just always this like reminder of absence, and I just didn't have that for a really, really long time. So for me, my mental health during the holidays looks a little bit different, I feel. But I loved that over the last, 9 years we've been broadcasting something during the holiday season. We take the time, whether we were on the morning show, doing a radio show, or our podcasting or wherever, just to kind of say, hey, even if it's not an easy time, there are resources, there are people that you can talk to. So anyhow, that's what's on my mind today as I'm heading into like after we do our show today. I've got to make the grocery list and I've got to get the food ready and start to kind of really get the presents all wrapped up and have a plan for all that. So I'm starting to go into like holiday mode right after our show is done today. And so my mind is in checking in with me, the kind of person that I am, going, what are my triggers? When do I know that I need to take a break? And kind of setting myself up for at least a little bit of success. So for me, just as a little example, for me, my mental health during the holidays is to be okay with just walking out of a room and taking a few minutes to myself in the quiet of my bedroom or something.
Sure.
I don't know why, but even whenever I pull into the place we're going, like let's say we're going to go to a store or something, as soon as I get there, I feel like I have to jump out of my car and go inside. Like I have to do the next thing. And I'm realizing that people who keep their cars clean sit in them for a little bit and clean them up and then leave the car.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I literally never could have let myself just sit still. So I'm realizing I do this at home as well, especially if I have company, where I feel obligated to always be present, always be a good hostess, always be, engaging people, and forgetting that it's okay to just like take a moment for myself and everyone's going to be fine. I'm not going to miss anything major. And this fear of missing out or not doing what's expected of me. It's strange how these things get into our heads. And I'm not 100% sure how it got there in my mind. But I'm identifying that that's one of the things that stresses me out, is I feel like I constantly have to be thinking of everybody and their needs, which is a gift I have, but I also need to take a second for myself.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing this holiday season.
Taking a few moments for myself has never been a problem for me. It is something I have been good at for my whole life, and I say that in a way to say that I do think that is healthy. Another one that I think Lollipop mentioned was saying no to things. It's more important here as some people aren't observing good pandemic protocol. The idea of saying no to things is also a very key mental health trait, to be able to understand the balance of giving and of charging and expelling energy, what that looks like in your life. And that's not something I've ever really struggled with.
It is something that I've struggled with a lot.
And a lot of people do. I know a lot of people do. And I only say that to say I do have things that I struggle with. For me, my health is really about what you would think about as like physical health. My mental health is very much tied to my physical health. If I'm not exercising, if I'm eating poorly, those kind of things, it takes a little bit of a toll on my mental health. Because I get mad at myself, I tear myself down for eating too much, or, those kind of things. And so I have those battles within. So for me, it is both the commitment and discipline to be able to be healthy, physically healthy, as well as give myself the grace to make poor decisions and then just make the next right decision.
Right.
So anyhow, that is, for me, something that, especially over the holays, becomes part of my mental health struggles. Because I don't know if you know this, but man, do people like to eat around the holidays. So, yeah.
Breezy Lady B on Twitch says, crocheting. It's always for my mental health. And Lolly adds, I love to crochet. Pot of tea, warm PJs, some yarn. Picking something up and doing something that you can easily just sort of do and like check out mentally. Sometimes that's key.
Rennie says, listening to lots of Christmas music and looking for ways to bless others. That's great.
That's a good one.
Cyregdo says, daily 30-minute workout walks. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that would be so good for my mental health to kind of get back into, and it's easy. It's so easy to blame the pandemic, right? Because, not going to the gym, and then it gets to be winter and I don't want to go outside to work out, and so it's like, I don't know, there's just some sort of roadblock I have working out at home. It just never happens. And so, that's a really, really good one.
Mariella says, mental health. I am buying the things I need. Working and helping others. I mean, maybe working out. I don't know. Sure. And I started 2 projects for 2021. Ooh. Already thinking about projects. Kind of something to kind of focus on and pour into.
Yeah.
My mother in the chat says, the hostess with the mostest. You got it from me. Sorry. That's probably true.
Caleb says, is pretending like everything is okay when it's not a healthy thing? Not really? Question mark. Hold on. There is a bit of mental health exercise in what I call forced optimism. The idea that you can continue to look positively even in a negative situation is something very near and dear to my heart. It is not, what's the word I'm looking for, where it's not just ignoring something. It's being aware of something and choosing to find the positive, choosing to see, the positivity around you, those kind of things. And I know it's hard. And difficult, but no, pretending like everything is okay when it's not can be properly done in balance a healthy thing.
Coping mechanisms are natural, and I think that there are certain times when your coping mechanisms can turn into self-sabotage, and that's where I think it's important sometimes, maybe not during the holidays, maybe in that reflective time, to sort of turn the mirror and say, is this coping mechanism serving me and helping me to make it through a situation that I need to go through? And I need this tool, or is it becoming something that's sabotaging myself? And those are hard questions to ask.
They are. We're not talking about denial here. See, denial is a totally different thing. Denial is not pretending everything is okay. Denial is believing everything is okay when it's not. That is different than the idea of, I'm going to take what I know is a bad situation and find a way to have positive thoughts, see the positive things, and pretend like everything is okay. And I think that's positive. There's kind of a little bit of fake it till you make it there, which in balance can be a good thing. Like I am pro optimism in almost all of its forms. So yes.
There's a series of comments that were happening on YouTube that I want to point out. Nick was saying after I log out of work today, I won't have to go back until January 4th.
Nice.
Second year in a row that I get to do this, and I'm very excited. It don't connect. Wishing you a fantastic break. Elizabeth jumping in on that. But I think the reason that I wanted to point it out is he says, after years of retail and having to work through this and next week and being stressed out every year, it's a nice change. I think that's a really important thing to notice too, is sometimes we'll realize that we're engaging in things that are really stressful. And if you work like in retail or something, that can be it. Maybe taking time off during that season is, if you can do that, is good. Elizabeth jumps in and says, I work retail. So this year I decided that I won't always jump at the opportunity to go in early when I'm asked, and it's okay to say I will be in when I'm scheduled. Yes. Advocating for your schedule and what you need for your job is sometimes so uncomfortable because we're trained to think that you do everything you can and to keep your job, because jobs are so important. Obviously, income, you have to have it. So I think we're trained to almost go above and beyond. And if we set those boundaries in those small ways by saying, I'll come in when I'm scheduled, I'm not available. You don't have to explain why you're not available. That's not something you have to ever share. I remember when I started in massage therapy school, the teachers were very clear with us that when you start to work, people will look at your schedule and they'll say, well, I want to come in at noon and I see you don't have anybody at noon. So I want to come in on my lunch break.
Right.
But if you've scheduled that time for yourself, you need to take that time for yourself. So the first thing is, don't ever show them your schedule. And the second was, don't feel bad for the time that you need, because somebody else will want to take it because they have plans for you, but you have to set those boundaries. And I really was curious about that. It kind of felt like, but why wouldn't I just, if I can see him at noon, what's the big deal? And then I experienced it. And after you kind of let other people dictate your availability and your time enough, it can really weigh down on you, especially during the busy retail season.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I hope you're able to do that. I hope you're able to find peace, not just during the holidays, but every day, and find ways to continue to pursue mental health. And, I've had the opportunity this year for the first time to do some therapy with a therapist. And it wasn't something that I approached because I felt like something was missing in my life or that I had this big issue I needed to work through. And it was really eye-opening to me that therapy is for everyone. And I know that there's a financial aspect to it. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is available in your life, and many of us do therapy with each other.
We do therapy with each other.
There's something therapeutic about conversations with friends, but just remember there is something beneficial and powerful about somebody who is trained to know how to work through how the human psyche works, the human emotions work, those kind of things. So,
it's funny you're talking about that, because Rennie had said crocheting is great. It costs as much as therapy, but it's more fun, which I love that comment. And like my therapy is I have a personal organizer that comes to my house and helps me to go through all the stuff to do the mental work of letting go of things I don't need anymore, making sure that I'm, staying organized in a way that makes me not stressed out and want to live in my home rather than like shut the doors of rooms, because I have a tendency to just stuff things away and not know how to deal with like my stuff. So I call her my therapy. So she comes over and we do 4 hours of therapy, at least once a month is the goal. And I am so happy afterwards because I feel like, okay, everything is getting organized. Everything has a purpose. There's actually, and she challenges me on stuff that I need to be challenged on.
Yeah. Wally says therapy is for everyone. Nobody is doing so well they can't benefit from taking stock. I wish it was more available to everyone.
Me too.
On a professional level. Yeah, I do too. And if it is available to you, if you have the resources, or and I know a lot of places will do, they will help you out sometimes, like BetterHelp, those kind of places. Definitely recommend it. I think it's something everybody can can benefit from. And again, not to diminish what you're talking about with the organizational therapy or crocheting therapy or those kind of things, but it is different. It is another level of somebody who is trained to help you understand the things you're feeling better and the reasons you need therapy better and those kind of things. And I have benefited from it greatly. And I went into it not really thinking I needed it. Yeah, quote unquote, needing it.
There's something powerful about being boldly honest with somebody and not having and not having repercussions for it, essentially. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ready for the A topic?
Let's do it.
What is your newest holiday tradition? Now, this is not meant to make you feel bad, Danae. I know that you always, when we start talking about traditions, feel like you can't live up to all the traditions that happen over here at my place.
Yeah, you've got like 60.
It's not 60. It's not 60.
It's 42.
It's 41. Of course.
And, well, not if you've got a new one this year. What's your newest one? Well, unless you doing the replacement method where you take one out and you put a new one in?
Take one down, pass it around. No, we are the way traditions have developed around the holidays for us is that we, after a few years of doing something, realize it's a tradition. This is how traditions happen. Like, the pumpkin bread we eat on Christmas Eve was just something that we did a couple years and was like, oh, I guess this is a tradition now. Mm-hmm. So we were talking yesterday. My wife was like, should I make some, sausage egg casserole for Christmas morning breakfast? And I was like, yeah, we've done that like the last 2 or 3. It's a new tradition, sausage egg casserole on Christmas morning. Yeah. So, it's kind of one of those things where they just keep like adding on through the years. So I believe, 20 years from now, you will have this pile of traditions like we have at our house.
You're not wrong.
Throughout the holidays. So
You're not
I
wrong.
think it's just something that happens.
We have a new one that's developed this year, which is when we go to pick Iris up from childcare, it's just turning kind of dark. So we sort of linger and drive slow, and we just are looking at Christmas lights this year for the first time. And it is almost daily, which of course it's something we can do. We get out of the house, we just go drive around, and it's kind of been fun to find the neighborhoods that are doing it right, doing it right.
Yeah.
Doing it well. Actually, last night I went driving around with her. I'm somebody who's not really like, oh, Christmas lights, wow. But because she's so excited, I'm so excited. And I keep spotting this one neighborhood, and I wasn't quite sure how to get back there. But we pass it enough, and it's on the hill, and I'm like, I wonder how to get back over there. So I figured it out last night, and it was a sweet Christmas light payoff. There was it was just packed full. It was massive like subdevelopment, and it was literally sometimes you turn on one of the streets and it's like 15 houses on both sides of the street, all with Christmas lights.
That's fun.
And it was really cool to see all the different types of designs. One person was a minimalist and literally just outlined their yard in bright white lights, perfectly lined, like perfectly spaced out.
Yeah.
And the next person did, they blanketed all of their bushes and wrapped all their trees. And so there was just a variety of sorts. And we were just house after house after house, just gasping. And yeah, I'm sure we're going to have, the other thing that happened this year that I think will probably happen every year is my mom started to get the Hallmark releases Christmas ornaments in like a, oh my gosh, my brain is gone.
Collectibles?
Yeah, a series. And it's puppies. And so she started me on this series. I don't even remember how old I was. I think maybe like 11 or 12. And so every single year, the next one comes out. I think she expected that the series was only going to last for so long, but it just keeps going because it's very popular. And so I have one of these little puppies from every single year. And this year, when we were pulling them out, Iris was so excited because, of course, they're adorable little puppies. And so she got to put them all in the tree where she wanted to put them. And I'm sure she's going to want to do that every year because she had a blast doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I see what you're saying. They kind of just develop. We'll see.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where you don't have a tradition, and then all of a sudden, you're watching "It's a Wonderful Life" every Christmas, or whatever the case may be, Christmas Eve. I'm have a. Oh, go ahead with the lollies that you put up there.
Ollie says, our newest tradition is very simple. On Christmas Eve, we buy fancy hot chocolate and watch Die Hard. It's my husband's favorite film. Christmas Day breakfast is croissants and mimosas because those are my favorites.
Mimosa.
I'm coming to your house. That sounds amazing.
Is mimosa like a cocktail, like an alcoholic drink? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
super
thought it
yummy.
was. Is that like an orange juice and then something, or
Yeah, I think yeah. Uh-huh. I love mimosas. Nick says we make a sausage egg tater tot casserole for breakfast and Christmas too. Mm-hmm.
It's a good
Down
idea.
for that.
It's a good idea. Throw some tater tots in there. I wonder if it will become a tradition, and starting this year. But Pixar's releasing a movie to Disney Plus, Soul, on Christmas this year, and I wonder if that might be something they do every year now, where it's like, the new Pixar movie comes out, available to stream on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it makes
or
sense.
some sort of big movie, because that does make a lot of sense, right?
It
Everybody's
does.
home, families are home. So I'm wondering if we'll start to see that the more things shift from theaters to streaming to a combination to whatever it's going to look like in the future, that, our holidays will also have entertainment traditions, okay, now that we've opened gifts, we're all going to sit around and watch the new Pixar movie, kind of thing. So, because that's what we're doing this year. So I can imagine us doing it, if it continues to happen that way. So, yeah.
It Don't Connect says, looking at Christmas lights has always been a tradition in my family. My mom made a scavenger hunt list for us this year since we can't do it together. That's neat. I do wonder if there's going to be some new conversations about traditions based on the pandemic, based on people not being able to get together. Or I think I hear this enough that I can say this a little confidently, because it's not just myself, but I've heard it from so many others, that people's focus on what's important to them has shifted a lot in 2020.
Sure.
Who they're around, what they're spending their time doing. There's been a resurgence of reminders of the things that, like our hobbies that we love, because suddenly we're not obligated for social events or anything. It's just like you can kind of, you stay home and you kind of think of things that you want to do. So there's more time to explore projects and maybe books and how to stay connected with the people that you really want to stay connected with. I've also heard many people say that they have a different version of friendship now than they did before, where the people that they're choosing to invest in are very different than it was last year, which is kind of neat. It's like a palate cleanser in a way. So I wonder if there's going to be some shifts for traditions after this year. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Some great stuff. I mean, people mentioning the Pixar thing. Caleb saying the tradition I want to start is watching 2019's Little Women on Christmas Eve because it gives me that December glow.
The December glow.
Yeah. The annual Pixar Christmas Sob Fest.
There's a mention here of a scavenger hunt for Christmas lights. What a great idea. I should be writing down these neighborhoods and making a blog about it because people would love that.
Yeah, my wife and I drove through your neighborhood the other day looking for Christmas lights. We just kind of drove around the city looking at stuff. And I got to be honest, I was disappointed in your neighborhood is pretty dark right now.
It's so dark.
I wasn't personally.
I thought it was going to be like
disappointed
crazy lit up
when I don't do anything. It's not like, that would be ultimate hypocrisy. Somebody who doesn't care to put up any Christmas lights,
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one. I thought that our neighborhood was going to be lit, but
yeah.
That's okay. It's okay.
Let's see. What else? Tyler says we started Elf on the Shelf. Didn't want to, but my son loves it.
Oh no,
you may have heard of Elf on the Shelf.
Oh my gosh, your tweet killed me. Can you bring up an image of that? Actually, I'll do that.
No, I think I can.
Okay.
I think I can. Do you? Do you want to explain it, or you just want?
I think we should just show it to him. And then you read the tweet. It'll explain itself. Nick says, the elf on the shelf is not allowed in our house. I'm allergic to elves. That's funny. I've never looked into the elf on the shelf thing, but there are a lot of families that do that. So I'm sure eventually it might come up. Okay, so here's what Aaron did. He said, "Go ahead and tell him about the tweet that you wrote."
Well, I mean, it's just it's the classic. You've heard on Elf on the Shelf, but what about? And then you have to figure out what the rhyme is.
Yeah, guys, what is that? I did not know. So we co-run our other podcast, and I don't. So I was on there and I saw something cross my feed and it just didn't click. And then I was like, wait, what is this? So I had no idea that you had done this. That you would put it out, you tweet it out to the world for people to figure it out. And then there was another one that were requested for you to Photoshop other people on the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep. So what is this image, everybody?
This is fun stuff because I was not ready for how perfectly your cutout would be placed.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Like you've got your arm draped around the fluff top part. You got your hand on the other part.
Can you zoom in? Is this your Photoshop?
Can I zoom in?
I don't know.
I don't know how to do that on a Chrome tab, but
okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, Breezy got it. Danae on a souffle.
Yeah.
That's right. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf, but have you heard of Danae on a souffle?
And interestingly enough, like that picture of you, like one of your legs is missing because it's behind a table. And
oh my gosh.
Like half of your foot is cut off by the edge of the picture. And so I had to like kind of round the edge of your foot so it looked like you just have a really short foot if you zoom in.
I can't see it. No.
And the legs
so
are crossed
funny.
just enough that it looks like somehow maybe you're tucking your leg in somewhere, or maybe it's just in the souffle.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's super in the souffle because I want to stay warm and cozy.
but just your right leg, just the lower part of your right leg.
Yeah.
Deep in the souffle. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, Aaron.
Of course.
It was so nice of you.
Of course. I'm here to serve. That's what I do. All right, ready to move on to the questions for today.
Yeah. I'll scroll back up to the top because I know there was one that came in.
Yeah, there were a couple actually. If you have something you want us to talk about, something that has been gnawing at your brain, and you've been thinking about, and you just want to have discussion about, or it could be a question you have for us.
Yeah.
Everything is fair game. That doesn't mean we will answer every question necessarily, but we will do our best to answer as many as we can. So, did you find one?
Yes, I did.
All right,
this one's from YouTube. Nick says, question for Danae. Do you watch Bluey on Disney Junior with Iris? My girls love it, and I low-key love it too. Aww. Definitely recommend it. Okay. I haven't, but I just went to go look at the images so that I could kind of visually see. I think she would love this too because she loves dogs. So it says Bluey is an Australian animated television series for preschool children that premiered on ABC Kids in 2018. So it follows the adventures of Blue Heeler puppy Bluey, who lives with her mom and dad and sister. Her energy and lovable spirit gets her into all kinds of funny and unpredictable situations. Super okay with that. Thank you for the recommend. I will definitely add this to the list of things that we can try. I'm trying to break her free from a couple of the shows that are sort of starting to annoy me. The PJ Masks. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely remember those days. And, for us, it was stuff like Backyardigans, and there's some word show or something, or
Word Party.
Super. Oh, what was it? Anyways, I remember like that era with my kids of watching those shows, and I've heard such great things about Bluey that I can almost guarantee, like, if my kids were young, we'd be watching that. But yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of great stuff about that.
I'm scrolling back far enough that I'm reading the comments from my poison control moment.
Just checking those out. It Don't Connect says, you topic in the spirit of winter camp I just taught. What is your favorite way to bust your boredom during the winter? Now,
buzz that boredom.
This assumes something that unfortunately is not true for me. I don't get bored. Is that weird. Like I'm never bored. I always have something I can occupy my brain with. Like
you though, you don't need to be moving around. Some people have to like move. Like you're like, you can be in your mind, and I can too. I can go into my imagination or listen to a podcast, and I'm super happy.
Right.
So, but not everybody is like that.
Yeah, I always have something I can occupy my mind with.
Okay, what if you couldn't occupy your mind with any content? Like you couldn't watch anything.
Okay.
Or read anything.
Okay.
Or listen to anything.
Okay.
Would you just go to, like, what would you do?
I would sleep.
But you don't like naps, so what if it's daytime?
Okay. Am I allowed to do puzzles?
Okay, so his answer is puzzles.
Okay, there you go.
To break boredom, Aaron would do a puzzle. That's true. You do that. You actually like to put puzzles together.
Yeah, we put puzzles together. But that's not what I was talking about. But I was talking about like math puzzles, like a puzzle book.
Oh.
Am I allowed to do like a puzzle book?
Sudoku kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, of course. Yeah. It's your answer. You do whatever you want.
That kind of stuff. That's what I do.
I think our answer is also like craft related. I am so grateful that my dad got Iris a subscription box when she was like one, just barely one. And it's through KiwiCo. And so every month we get a box that has, and then it like advances as she ages. So, they're more complicated now, but it has crafts and experiments you can do together and prompts for play. So like when she was little, for example, there was one that was about shapes. It came with like a little book where the little froggy person was helping the bee person find the flowers that were shaped like, this. And then the bee made like a buzzing noise in a triangle shape. And nice. So the book does this, and then the prompt is to take some tape and make the shape on the floor and have the little one like, walk the shape. So it gives you kind of like fun activities to do inside. Yeah. And then there's also experiments that they send you just depending on like learning about inertia and momentum and things like this with balls and changing the trajectory angle of how you shoot them out of tubes and stuff. So it's really kind of helped us to be crafty where we turn our boredom into experiments. So we'll get like, I've gotten posters in the mail. We keep all those tubes. So sometimes we'll make like a whole like Rube Goldberg type machine where we'll like, put the ball in and see how far we can shoot it, and will it knock over this and that. And that's kind of like the fun stuff we do. I think it was just the other day we were doing a human version pinball where we took her Legos and we made little slappers, and we would take the tube, we shot a ball across the hardwood floor, and she would just take the shooters and try to smack them with it. We just do stuff like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Our chat is the best. I love that immediately when I said word, Caleb knew it was word girl. Yes, it was definitely word girl. And when I said super, and by the way, these are just very common words. It don't connect, immediately knew super Y. Yes, that is the show.
Oh
super
my
Y
gosh.
And word girl. And I wonder if it's because maybe they kind of grew up around the same time as my kids did. Like, it's one of those things where, somebody who actually had those shows in their past, would know them quicker. But yeah, it was definitely Super Y, Word Girl, Backyardigans, and there were several others as well. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm scanning through to see if we've got any new questions.
We've got plenty. Favorite holiday movie. I've talked about It's a Wonderful Life. White Christmas is great. Elf is another one we like to watch over the holidays. Princess Bride is always a fun watch, which, by the way, happens during Christmas.
Is a Christmas movie.
Happens during Christmas. A lot of people don't know that.
Forgot that. Actually, Steven, who asked that question, reminded me of that on Twitter recently because it came up in a conversation. I super forgot about it. But yeah, he gets a present. So,
and honestly, in my brain, I always thought it was a birthday present. I really did until watching it this recent time. No, it's a Christmas present. No. It's over Christmas. There's snow outside and decorations, and there's a Santa on his wall, and
it's a subtle Christmas movie.
Yes.
Unless they don't like make it super obvious that it's a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Man, my favorite holiday movie. Growing up, I remember my mom and dad watching a movie called Scrooged.
Yeah, Bill Murray, right?
And I haven't seen it in a long time, but I used to love watching that one. But I don't have a traditional Christmas movie that I watch every year.
Yeah. Caleb says, what are you most looking forward to in 2021? Gonna do this and say the vaccine and people and hugs and
travel,
movie theaters and traveling. And,
oh my God. Justin and I were just talking the other day.
I'm tearing up. I'm literally tearing up listing these things. It has been so long. So yeah.
We had decided in 2019 that we were going to take a year off of traveling.
Well, that's interesting.
We were like, we're not going to travel next year because sometimes we'll try to take vacations or go do something as a family. And we thought there's so much going on in our, transitioning careers for me. I had been working so hard. At one point in time, I was working on at least 4 projects. 2 of them were paying decent. A couple of them were just bringing in a little bit, but I was working insane and traveling. So we're like, let's just take a year off.
Yeah.
So then we're like, did we cause the pandemic?
Yes, it was you. We all know who to blame now.
Man, we moved away from our hometown 6 years ago, and then we just moved back in April. We have not had a chance to explore our city because even though we're basically, I didn't move back to my hometown. I moved on the outskirts of town, like in a different, basically the southwest part.
Suburb.
But we're not from we're not from this area. I don't know it as well. I know my hometown really well, but I don't know where we live as well. There's like a little downtown area. There's all these shops. There's all these local places that we obviously can't go to. I'm really looking forward to exploring where we live. And I'm looking forward to having friends come over and not worry about, having 10, 15 people come over for game night, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Correct. If the vaccine comes quickly,
it goes back to normal,
and yes, as things go back to normal. But it was literally the week we had a big event in Nashville, right? When everything started to go crazy. Well, the week after that, I had scheduled my very first movie marathon weekend at my house with the new setup.
Yeah,
and
you had just gotten
I was
a new
looking forward to
TV.
doing those monthly, having a bunch of people over every month to watch 3 to 7 movies, depending on if you wanted to come on both days or one day. And
sorry,
I know sounds like torture to you. I promise you, many people feel like that would be fun.
I know.
And others would hang out upstairs and eat snacks and whatever. But anyways, and I haven't had a chance to do one, and it's just like, okay, That's fine. I am not. Listen, don't cry for me, Argentina. I am not the one that has suffered here.
Okay.
But it is definitely something I think about.
So let's go here just real quick before we.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's say that we're still on lockdown. We're still needing to stay social distance to be safe. We're still needing to be cautious. We're still not having people come over, which this could be our reality next year. Let's just prepare for that. What would you be looking forward to in 2021 if things aren't changing?
If things are just
now?
If they are just like they are now?
Yeah.
There's the easy answers, the easy big answers, like spring.
Going outside.
Yes, you going for bike rides again.
Yeah, that is true. The weather shifting, that's true.
So yeah, we talked about that a little with my mental health, but I don't know. I for me, things revolve around content sometimes. So I'm thinking about movies that are coming out. I'm thinking about, those kind of things. But my kids are growing up. I have another one graduating in 2021. Fingers crossed. So, it's one of those things where, for me, because my life has been so much about my family, that's going to be a lot of, the milestones that I look for.
Yeah.
And we're going from graduations to marriages, grandkids, what's next in this stage? Grandpa Dice, you know what I mean? That's a legit thing that could happen in the next few years. My boys are old enough to get married and have kids and all that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah.
I think we're going to have a couple house projects. We're going to start on them hopefully this week and next week. But I see more of the house projects that we can do. If being stuck inside, you kind of look around and you're like, yeah, I could paint that wall. So that could be kind of fun just to continue to do some upgrades and such. Like we, a couple weeks ago, removed wallpaper, which was awful, but at the same time, ridiculously satisfying. So
Yeah.
I think we could, look forward to things like that. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to kind of go, if things don't change. But just like you, there's some content that I'm excited to continue to release. There's like the possibility of a new project that is currently in the idea phase that several people are excited about. So like, I'm excited to see if maybe one of those projects has legs and kind of grows.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see if my plants survive.
or your family survives.
No.
You trying to keep your plants
Oh my gosh.
healthy. All right, I think I see one more. See if you can do this one, Danae. It deals with movies. If you could switch 2 Christmas movie characters in 2 different Christmas movies, who would you switch? How about Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation with Buddy the Elf from Elf?
Well, that's interesting.
So you get to swap the characters in 2 Christmas movies. What about?
I'm gonna put the Dread Pirate Roberts as Elf.
Okay, Wesley.
So
Yes.
Wesley.
And so then Elf is Wesley.
Yeah.
Is Will Ferrell?
Yeah. I don't know why.
It might work.
I don't know why.
It could work. How about since we're going with Die Hard being a Christmas movie? How about John McClane or Bruce Willis from Die Hard, and Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life?
There you go.
see how that one goes.
Or the Grinch with Buddy the Elf.
See how Jimmy Stewart handles the terrace in the tower. Go that way.
Caleb says Kevin McAllister with John McClane.
I mean, that's a fun one. That one actually makes sense. So, yeah.
So I just wanted, oh no, Nick says, I just don't see Buddy the Elf being able to make it through the fire swamp. This might seem a little out of place, but I do want to say there's a couple of people that have been talking about crocheting. My mother is Breezy Lady B on Twitch. She's looking forward to streaming in 2021. She's starting her stream for crocheting. So for those of you who are talking about your love of crocheting, I know there's some cross platforms. There's somebody, I think Rennie on Facebook. And I think maybe I saw one other coming in from YouTube. So since we're all talking about cross platforms, there is a chat there. You can go and follow her on Twitch at Breezy Lady B. And yeah, that's another thing. I might start streaming on Twitch in 2021. I'm trying to set it up now.
You're streaming on Twitch now. So.
I mean more regular. Specifically like about Dungeons and Dragons.
Thank you so much for joining us on a someday. We love hanging out with you in the morning. If you want to make sure that you are aware of when everything happens, when things go live on however you watch, just make sure you're subscribed. And in fact, in many of those places, you can click a little notification bell and be notified when we have a show, because since we do Mondays and some days, we're going to be on Mondays at 9 a.m., but there will be other days we're on at 9 that will just kind of pop up like this morning did. So make sure you're subscribed, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, the social media that shall not be named, that rhymes with Space Crook. So
good. Nice one.
And also Twitter, which I'm not sure what Twitter is doing. I got a message. They are shutting down Periscope. They are shuttering Periscope.
What?
I don't know, but I'm sure they will do live streaming. I think they may just be rebranding it as just Twitter. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing, but I do know they said that Periscope was going away. So we'll see what happens with that. But wherever you are, we appreciate you and thank you for hanging out with us. And if you want to be a member of Team DNA, thank you. That's amazing. We do that at Patreon, patreon.com/StudioDNA. It's $5 a month, and it comes with a podcast feed that has all the podcasts on the network, including all of these as a podcast. The Shoe the Dough podcast is just for the Monday show where this happens.
I'm laughing because Of course, my husband's watching from Periscope.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my gosh.
So thank you.
Thank you guys. And hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you all. However you celebrate, however you are, whether it's the solstice or Hanukkah or Christmas or just whatever. We wish you the best. For us and our family, we always say Merry Christmas. So that's what I'll say to you guys. Merry Christmas. I hope it's a wonderful one. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you on the next Monday or Sunday.
We're not going to go live the rest of the week. Are you kidding me? Tomorrow is New Year's.
Listen, it's just something I say at the end of the show.
And then
it's still the next Monday or someday.
I guess we might be able to go on Friday. I don't know. You're right. No, you're right. It's
still the next Monday or someday.
It's still the next Monday or some Periscope. I'm on Twitter. Okay, honey, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you about that.
And since Danae started this, she